This is the Peace Garden, or also known as the Peace Sanctuary, which is a garden that the Urban Farm and Garden Alliance does a lot of stuff with. But this one specifically functions as there's both the community garden aspect of it, but there's a children's garden on Wednesdays during the summer that is specific to doing some education around farming and growing your own food, but then also kind of a fun way of engaging. So this is usually, obviously we haven't started anything yet this summer. Got a raspberry bush there, but this will be full of different fruits and vegetables that will be planted. That a lot of then the food that's here is used for the children's program, or also sometimes people will come just take from the garden. I think that gardening, and specifically community gardening, provides such a place to build peace and to build relationship that although sustainability and food justice is all about nourishing communities and nourishing bodies, it's also building this really unique dynamic place too for people to connect and to share both their wisdom but their recipes, their thoughts, their own experiences with growing their own food. And I it provides more than just a produce yield, but also a social yield. This is our strawberry patch, and it's the best. Yeah, this is the place where we do the educational part of it, a place where we encourage each other, a place where we celebrate growing food. And hey, Melvin, the Peace Man.
There's a lot of health disparities within Frogtown and Rondo, and community gardens such as the Peace Garden or the Victoria Community Garden or Frogtown Farm. Those are solutions to helping to close that kind of gap in disparities. Even though this is Minnesota, Minnesota is probably on top of the list for just racial disparities. If it's in particular around the health issue, likewise with employment, housing, and everything's kind of connected. This community, where this Peace Garden is in the Aurora St. Anthony neighborhood, which is part of Rondo. And Rondo right now is on this renaissance of reclaiming the neighborhood and taking ownership and really trying to work with state and local governments of how good partnerships should be. And for this particular garden, I would say Bethel University. Their students have been very helpful. The two people in front of me, KP, she's been a superstar. Within our food movement, we have grown from 6 community gardens to 9, and we have increased our backyard gardeners. And we're looking forward to Taz coming in. She wears purple. Purple is a royal color. And it's going to be vibrant. And so this is the spring right now. Things are becoming green, and we're just going to make it more greener. And as far as the environment, for this community and any community, green is wealth, and food is wealth. Last year we did a greens cook-off. We believe those folks who participate are like artists, and it was reclaiming part of the history. Greens is very healthy for you. Give you good iron, make you strong like Popeye.
This one is a very sacred place for also people to just come. I would come here sometimes last summer and throughout this year when I just needed to reconnect to my own spirit and kind of just be in what it is, a peace sanctuary, a place to just reflect and to be grateful and to be very present, which is I think what community gardening does for people. This is the Victoria Garden, which operates differently. Each plot is kind of owned by an individual in the community, and then with each plot kind of, they could choose what they want to do with the food that comes from it, whether it's for their own family. But usually most community gardens operate, sometimes there's a cost, like you might pay $20 a year to be kind of a part of the community garden, but then there's this kind of expectation that like you'd be sharing responsibilities and roles, like whether cutting the grass or like different work days, and that's kind of what's building this like social yield. I think this is awesome. The city has this hooked up so that you can screw a hose onto here, and we have the code for it, but that the water is actually coming from the fire hydrant, which I think is really awesome. This is Pilgrim Baptist. This is a historic church to the Rondo community, and there's a man that said, let's use this space for a community garden for our congregation. So this is one of the largest gardens in the Urban Farm and Garden Alliance neighborhood house, which is on the west side of St. Paul, and I worked within their food support program, and we just did a mass survey too of like trying to assess what participants felt towards our food market, like what they wanted to see change, what there wasn't enough of, and one of like the largest responses we got was we need more produce, we need more produce, we need more produce, we need more produce, and we want more access to fresh produce. And that's like 95% said it was very, very important for them to have more produce for their families, because yeah, there's not a lot of places that are making it accessible. So there's a lot of like cool people doing really good food justice work, but on very grassroots levels.
I had a lot of friends who had been talking to me about the ways that altering your diet can prove to serve a bigger cause, so to speak.
Cutting out meat from your diet is one of the most impactful things you can do to reduce your carbon footprint.
I remember watching a documentary about your diet and learning that a third of the world's farmable land is used just to raise and feed livestock, and reading data about population growth over the next 25 years and seeing how if we cut our meat consumption, we can really make our planet more sustainable as far as taking care of more people long term. I started realizing there were a lot of health benefits too. I feel better when I'm not eating a lot of meat, and it cuts risk of cancer, of heart disease, as well as not killing animals that don't need to be killed, I guess.
At this point, I have so many reasons to not eat meat that I don't think I would ever go back to eating it regularly. It's actually been a lot easier than I thought it would be.
I have found that there are good options at Royal Grounds and at the grill. You can make almost any custom sandwich or stir fry or pasta at the grill without meat, and sometimes you can sub in vegetables for meat, which I found helpful. They also have those great like quinoa shaker salads and a few wraps like that. So there really are plenty of options.
The greatest difficulty has been to not come off in a way that's like I'm better than you, because I never mean for it to be that way.
When I'm traveling with a lot of people, if I'm going over to someone's house for dinner, in context when I'm not in control of the food that I'm making or ordering, it's more difficult to find vegetarian options there. And so I've chosen to allow relationships first and never become really legalistic about my decision to be a vegetarian. That's been a big part of it too. But overall, it has been an easy transition. It might not be for everyone, but I'm a historically picky eater, especially when it comes to meat. So it's been an easier decision for me.
Do you have questions about I'm like a little like just like even the healthy practice of like gardening for me specifically, like it's a forced way to slow down and to have to engage in things, to engage in like engaging your body. Like there's all sorts of research that's done as it relates to trauma and like how to engage your body in a way that is kind of like engaging your nervous system as an act of healing. And I think for me, like playing in the dirt and like getting your hands and like engaging your body in this like relationship with the land was incredibly healing, and like is a very just like gentle, graceful relationship that allows people to like slow down and to like really be intentional with like your movement and like how you relate to yourself, and even like spiritually, like there's something very spiritual about like digging your hands in creation and like honoring what is sacred, which is what we stand on, but we've disconnected ourselves so much from it, like that it's now a practice to like have to learn how to reimagine how to like relate to plants in the ground and land as like alive and as like a mutual relationship. Like we literally need it to survive, and we've treated it as if it is at our disposal. And I think that's one of the biggest things that people are missing out on, as well as Christians. Like we don't talk environmental justice, we don't talk about our need for land and for plants and for food, and as being something that's like crisis, and it is.